Hey folks, Zach Osterman, IU Insider, Indianapolis Star, doing a quick video to go with something that I wrote for IndyStar.com/sports. We're talking around lunchtime on August 21st, and I wrote something just kind of in reaction Wednesday night to a lot of the sort of framing of some news that we got from the College Football Playoff Selection Committee on Wednesday. The news was primarily, at least among sort of tweaks to selection criteria, that the committee will start using strength of record, which is a metric that is meant to sort of judge a team not just by its schedule, but how it performs against that schedule, how the average team would perform against that schedule, and the difference between those two, sort of performances. That record strength was going to be added to the committee's sort of selection criteria. And in some places that was certainly framed, or at least digested, as a bit of a response to the criticism of the inclusion of teams like Indiana and SMU over teams like Alabama or Ole Miss. That was, I think, particularly pointed because Indiana finished with the 8th best strength of record according to ESPN's FPI, Football Power Index, last season, ahead of every single 9-win, at least in the regular season, every single 9-win SEC team. That included Alabama, which finished 17th. That included Ole Miss, which I believe finished 13th. I think the closest regular season 9-win SEC team in the final SOR on ESPN's FPI was Mizzou. And it was a reminder that Indiana has really kind of become a straw man in this argument over playoff selection, playoff format, what should, sort of regular season scheduling and how to resolve lack of parity there. Indiana's got to fight back on this, I think, and the reason why is because just the brand strength, the monolithic nature of an Ohio State football, of an Oregon football, of a Michigan football, will always sort of fight that fight for that team, for that program. Indiana does have to fight a little bit harder for that same sort of status. It just does, at least for the moment. And I think it's pretty clear from the way that criticism of Indiana and sort of, the casting of Indiana as, because of the way it schedules and things like that, as sort of proof of what's wrong with the Big Ten's arguments around the playoff. Indiana hasn't gotten a lot of defense from outside, and I think it's time, and I made the argument in that piece, for Indiana to start punching back. It needs to, because at some point it's going to need that clout and that agency, and it needs to lay the groundwork for that now. So go to IndyStar.com/sports and read that if you haven't. And obviously stay tuned for all of our coverage from the season about to begin. Thanks for watching.